The next speaker has been with us for how long have we known you? 12 years? 20 years? Seems like 20 years when he was still thinner. We were all thin. No. He's been with us. He's a graduate of the UP School of Music in guitar. But one of he will tell you himself, and he has been with us since he joined the organization, and the many ups and downs, the many side to side, and the many adventures, right? He's been with us and he's stuck with us all throughout, without pay. Okay? And as of the spirit of voluntarism and the love for the principles and for my father. Guys, please welcome Bear Archivido.
Yeah, okay, I prepared here my speech. Kasi baka mayak ako eh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've been with Mr. Antonio Butch Valdes for almost 2 decades. I wear many hats. Well, my name is Bear Archivido. I wear many hats. But currently, I am the tech guy of KDP, this political party. And depending on the audience, I address him differently. Sometimes I just call him Butch. I call him Ka-Butch when we're on broadcast radio, and with some people that we talk with. I call him Sir Butch most of the time when we're on fora, meetings, etc. And I also call him Sir Butch. Sir with an E. Sir Butch. Tama na yung cake, sir. Sir, tama na yung ice cream, sir. Magagalit si Totin, sir. Sir, magagalit si ito, sir. To which he would candidly reply, Perlin, sino ba boss dito? Isa pang ice cream, dali. Si Itos, anak ko lang yun, sus. That's how he would reply to that. So 2 decades with him, I can say a lot, but I will keep it short. I actually first met Itos probably in the late 2002. In a forum at a university, Itos was giving a talk about mass media, the September 11 or the 9/11 incident. He posed a question: how do you know the world is round? On your own authority, how do you know it's true? Then it follows, how do we know then what mass media is telling us, reporting, they're all reporting, we're all true, right? So the question, how do you know the world is round, never left my mind since. So I told my friend with me, actually that was Marlon, that I find it a very thought-provoking, intelligent question. And another friend also said that Itos, as a father that probably is more knowledgeable than her, was especially in economics, political economy, and whatnot. And of course, that's Butch Valdes. And a few months after that, I was fortunate to hear Butch giving a briefing on the country's economic condition and the world financial collapse, and its impact on the Philippines. What Butch was saying about economics then were so clear. And I thought to myself, that's the way it should be taught in schools. Then I met his son Anton, his junior. He was a dear friend too. Well, he passed on last year. He led the youth movement, the Philippine LaRouche Society. I joined them, Butch, Itos, and Anton, together with a dozen youth members back then. So, as Itos said earlier, in 2003, Butch started his own daily radio show called Ang Ating Katipunan to inform the public about the world financial collapse, explain far and wide about the economic ideas needed to uplift the quality of life of every single human being on this planet. He was so tired of hearing so-called economists, economic managers who manage the economy by just raising or lowering interest rates, then dupe people by increasing taxes, privatization of government assets, and the imposition of population control. These policies kill people. Economics for Butch Valdes is about human lives. And human lives, these aren't merely statistics on a balance sheet. These are precious human souls. Economic policies must always be for the betterment of mankind. Butch, a CPA, an MBA, former head of an accounting firm, it was the second largest at that time. He's also a former undersecretary for finance of Department of Education. He would always say that he wished he knew about LaRouche Diaz 20 years earlier when he was still in his 20s, so that he could have done more, much, much more for the country. I remember our intellectual works with him weekly. He would participate with us in reading out loud, in dialogue form, and or in discussion. In discussion of some of Plato's works, like the Republic, William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, Gottfried Leibniz, Monad, Moses Mendelssohn's Phaedon, and the works of Johannes Kepler, the scientist. He really liked on Learned Ignorance by Nicholas of Cusa, and also his other works. He even asked me to make a few more hard copies and he'll give it to his high school friends from LaSalle and will force them to join him in a dialogue. We have read the report on manufactures authored by the first Treasury Secretary of the US, Alexander Hamilton. We also discussed our very own Dr. Salvador Araneta and his economic ideas influenced by the US President FDR and Alexander Hamilton as well. Like a youth himself, Butch would still join some of our pedagogical studies. Some of our constructive geometry, what we call the anti-Euclidean geometry. We would construct Platonic solids, Archimedean solids, the Egyptian solids. He would join us with solving the paradox of squaring the circle, doubling the cube, and doubling the square. Yeah, doubling the square and doubling the cube. Yeah. This is not to overwhelm you how knowledgeable Butch was, but this is to let you know how he wanted these great ideas be understood by common people, the forgotten people of our society. That he'll use the simplest words he knew, the creative ideas he knew, to make sure he's understood. In 2016, Butch, after being invited to give a presentation at the IAEA Summit, the International Atomic Energy Agency summit held at the Diamond Hotel here in Manila, he was commissioned by then Secretary of Department of Energy, Alfonso Cusi, to give a paper about the nuclear energy. In just a month, Butch did. He formed the group Renaissance Philippines together with the late Dr. Roger Posadas, a nuclear physicist, the founder of the University of the Philippines College of Science. The paper submitted proposed the revival of the Bataan nuclear power plant the BNPP, and the nuclear energy development of the country. BNPP can be rehabilitated in a year or two, and the Philippines can have 6 to 8 nuclear power plants in 6 years without a cost from the government. Well, that's because Butch, as an accountant, knew really well how to do it. It is because the BNPP is fully paid by the Filipino people. It's been paid through the years, and it's not part of the privatization of the entire Philippine energy sector. The BNPP, therefore, can finance the would-be new nuclear power plants. But the DOE secretary shelved the proposal. Butch, Dr. Roger Posadas, the Renaissance Philippines, was that close in making the Promethean fire once again in the hands of the Filipinos. Butch so emphasized with nuclear energy as the backbone of the Philippine economy, more importantly, that public utilities in government's control and not the oligarchs. He says that in one generation, or even less, we can uplift the quality of life of every Filipino. Antonio Butch Valdes was a friend, was a father to me, a comrade at arms in the battle of ideas. In conclusion, I'd like to end with a Christmas message from Butch. This is posted at the KDP page last December 25. He says, "Over the years, it has gotten more and more difficult to look forward to the merriment and festive atmosphere that Christmas traditionally brings. We no longer can feel that the goodwill thrown our way is sincere or merely perfunctory. No, I have not lost faith in our people. And yes, I have lost faith in our leaders. No, I am not bitter about the present conditions of life, dire conditions made more and more manifest over the years. But yes, I am passionately angry at our government leaders who maliciously impose programs designed to promote poverty and depopulate our country. No, I am not angry at President Marcos Jr. But yes, I am still waiting for him to wake up and realize the gravity of the situation our nation and people face in the near future. Merry Christmas, Mr. President." Butch Valdes, KDP Chairman.